Have you ever felt like you're the only one grinding whilst everyone else is chilling? That's the journey of working on yourself. This is day 12 of my daily video challenge. I'm doing this to get comfortable creating video content. Hi, my name is Dhanusha. I'm an executive and transformational coach. I work with high performers, leaders, and business owners who are ready to lead, to realign with purpose, lead with clarity, and grow sustainably. For today's video, I wanted to speak on embracing the journey to personal growth. We've talked about setting goals and planning for your life. Now let's slightly change gears and talk about what it takes to walk that path. This journey is an ongoing process of self-improvement and not a quick fix with just a 30-day challenge. If I take my own experience in getting comfortable in front of the camera and creating video content, I see it as a journey because I procrastinated on this for about 2.5 years, even before I had clarity on what my business was going to look like. I knew what I needed to do, which was just get in front of the camera and start talking. Because if I didn't, how would anyone get to know me to be able to even want to connect with me, never mind engage with my services? They needed to be able to see and hear from me to form some sort of connection or to spark some sort of curiosity to want to reach out to me. Yet in my own mind, the thought of putting myself on camera, not being comfortable with the way that I looked, given I'm still overweight, how it didn't sound clear at times, how I get myself tongue-tied often, and just feeling awkward being in front of the camera, not to mention opening myself up for judgment as I put myself out there. These are all things that got in the way of me starting this journey. There are a couple of things at play here. One was that I wasn't mentally prepared, and the excuses above were just my mind protecting me from the things that I feared by helping me stay in my comfort zone. Even though I knew logically what I needed to do in order to be able to market and grow my business. The second is I hadn't yet reached a point where the pain of not taking action was enough for me to do something about it. So I shifted my focus onto other things for the time being, which is to start laying down the foundations for my business, defining my business, defining the services that I'm offering. I started by focusing on my private clients. And eventually, come December this year, I ran out of road, and there really wasn't much left to do apart from starting to market my business if I was going to make any real progress. The alternative was to keep procrastinating, keep tinkering away in the background, and be at risk of really failing at starting this business and having to go back to the dreaded 9 to 5 just to be able to make ends meet. So I approached this from the perspective of developing a skill and took on this challenge to help me do so. Accepting that it would be uncomfortable and it'd look really bad at the start. I told myself if it still felt the same by the time I got to the end of my first week, then perhaps I really wasn't cut out for this and I should cut my losses and try something else. Because naturally, the more you do something, the more you will try to be better at it. And if I wasn't putting any effort into making myself better or getting more comfortable, then it would prove that I'm on the wrong path. Sure enough, by the time I got to the seventh day, I was feeling a little bit more comfortable putting myself in front of the camera. I was actually starting to look forward to it. The point of that was that this journey that we embark on can be a very transformative one for our life, a very worthwhile pursuit. However, it demands intentional preparation and for us to develop resilience along the way. So here are 4 tips to embracing your growth journey. The first is preparing yourself mentally and emotionally for the road ahead. True growth starts with self-awareness and commitment. Acknowledge that this is going to be a journey. And in my case, it wasn't just about doing the video challenge for 30 days. That was actually just the first milestone. And by the time I make it through to the 30 days, I would have simply walked up to the start line, which is just to be comfortable in making content. The real journey begins in posting content for the rest of the year, doing 1 to 2 videos a week as part of my marketing approach. That same skill will also help me record videos for my coaching program. So it'll be a skill that I continue to get better at and develop my capability at over time, which will lead to me being able to apply it to other areas of my business as well. So recognize as well what you need in order to be able to sustain your efforts over that long-term period. Initially, it's just to get to the end of your goal, but you want to be able to get to the end of that goal without being burnt out and hating the process, to the point that you may even avoid utilizing that skill because it hasn't been fun at all. That also means recognizing that time is limited and that your results will come down to the effort that you put in. You reap what you sow. That means being willing to sacrifice immediate pleasures for long-term gain. As an example, you might choose to skip out on some social outings with your friends to focus on yourself or to focus on skill development, doing a short course, for example. You may need to be able to put aside some personal time to be able to stretch out your work hours, whether it's working late into the evening or working some of your weekends as well. We're talking about maximizing your efforts over the time that you have available to you, or the time that we all have available to us, which is all the same, 24 hours. As you do so, it's important to keep in check the other aspects in life that are important to you: your health, your family, your relationships, etc. Tip 2 is embracing loneliness as part of this process. A lot of people won't understand why you're changing your habits, saying no to things, or perhaps they might think you're being selfish as you prioritize your growth. Some friends and family might even feel threatened or left behind. And that's okay, that's actually not your fault. The truth is that leveling up often means temporarily walking a more solitary path. Reframe it in a positive way for yourself. This loneliness is building your inner strength and self-reliance. And it's not forever, it's just a season. Once you've achieved your goal, you get to celebrate and enjoy the fruits of your labor. So use the quiet to get really comfortable with your own company. You can do things like meditation, journaling, or even going for solo walks to turn loneliness into productive me time. Tip 3 is knowing yourself and building perseverance to overcome obstacles. As I'm sure you're all aware, motivation comes and goes. Discipline, and I'll add as well as identity, will carry you through the flat path. Get clarity on who you are and who you need to be in order to achieve your goals. And stay focused on doing the things that you need to do or that will move you towards your goal. Manage your own expectations as well, and accept that you will experience plateaus, setbacks, and days where you just want to quit. Reflect on what those have looked like for you in the past and what your default responses have been. And just think about how you might be able to approach things differently when when you face tough times. Some things that might help are staying focused on small daily proofs when you're just not feeling like it. Like I'm still showing up is more powerful than not turning up at all, or trying to convince yourself to do this huge task. When things are getting hard, zoom out and ask yourself, who do I want to become in 3 years' time? They'll help you reconnect with your why and what drives you. A tactic that helps me is tracking small wins, like this video streak, just so that I can see progress, even when it feels invisible. It's not about producing great videos or getting the views, engagement, or likes. It's just about recording and posting, one after the other, until I hit 30 days. So remember that every person you admire or that has achieved something you desire had to go through the same boring, hard, and unseen days. It's all part of the journey. The final tip is cultivating a supportive community of like-minded people around you. As this can be a very lonely journey, start seeking out people on the same path. Look for online communities, podcasts, creators, local meetups, and connect with 1 to 2 people who really get it. Focus on quality over quantity. One person who lifts you up is far better than 10 people who drag you down. You might start commenting on videos or posts from people that share a similar path with you that could lead to forming real connections. One thing to be aware of is about protecting your energy and not letting old environments pull you back to your past. So those are my 4 tips on embracing your journey to personal growth. The journey of working on yourself is not glamorous, but it's the most worthwhile thing that you'll ever do. It asks for sacrifice, patience. It asks you to keep going when no one is clapping. But on the other side of that is the version of you that can actually live out the life you've been planning. So a quick challenge for you today is to ask yourself, what's one small sacrifice you're willing to make this week to stay on your path? If you feel comfortable, please share that in the comments below. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have watched this far, I appreciate you and thank you for supporting me. We shall see you tomorrow. Bye.